Hey, what's up, Stay Tuners? It's your good friend Jimbo here, letting you know that today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. I recently joined as a member and you can too. Apply today and let them know that you heard from Stay Tuned Sports and you start earning today. That's podgo.co at podgo.co.
You heard the rest. Now here's the best Stay Tuned Sports Podcast.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here, kicking off the show with quite a few topics I want to touch on. Watched the Flyers game last night, and Carter Hart just not having a good year so far. I want to touch on that a little bit. And keeping with the Philadelphia sports stories, Jalen Hurts being pretty much named the starter for next year, as well as some USC talk, and we're going to touch on the Dak Prescott contract deal that the Cowboys did. But before we do that, make sure you head over to staytunesports.net. Click all the social medias are on the right hand side there: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Click the follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. That way you can get all the updates when the shows come out, as well as any new merchandise that we are creating, which also on the website there, merch tabs up top there. Click it. Very easy to get to, and much appreciate the support from all you guys. So last night, the Flyers played the Sabres. Really haven't been able to catch too many games this year. Mostly been seeing highlights, because of work and everything like that. But Carter Hart just not having a good year. Right now, like last year, he was the phenom and all that stuff for the Flyers, goaltending. And I think he was only averaging giving up 2.8 or 2.9 goals a game, and had a winning record. This year he's actually, I think I saw 5-6 so far, and he's given up almost 4 goals a game. And the few games that I did catch, from start to finish, a lot of the goals he's giving up are ones he was saving last year. And it kind of begs the question is, and our good friend King brought it up a couple weeks ago, is the pressure getting to him? Possibly, but I think also, and it was obvious last year in the playoffs, I think our defensive players aren't helping him either. If you watch some of these games, there's a lot of turnovers that we're giving up in our end. And also, in the offseason, we had Matt Niskinson retire abruptly. We were hoping to get him back to pair up with Provorov again, which was a very good pairing last year. There was just inconsistency behind those two. I mean, right now, the Flyers are still in good shape as far as playoffs and things like that, but if you're going to want to win a championship this year, you got to shore up that goaltending and the defensive pairs. Brian Elliott, he's having a good year, but he's not an everyday starter anymore. We can't bank on getting 2 or 3 games a week out of him. Carter Hart's the one that's got to pull it together here. And I think how they can help him get some of that confidence back is they got to pull a trade. They got to pull a trade to get a defensive player. And one name that I keep seeing as a possible trade partner is with the Predators for their defensive player, Ekholm. He's not going to be quite that Niskanen that we had last year, but he'll be better than what we have right now. And if we could relieve some of the pressure on Hart, with turnovers and all the things that are going wrong for us back there, it'll help him out. Get some of that confidence back and, help get those goals against numbers down. I mean, like right now, they're giving up, 3.1 goals a game, which is like 8th or 11th in the league. And I mean, we're scoring, we're getting about 3 to 4 goals a game, which is, again, 12th or 13th in the league. Now, compare that to, like, say, Tampa Bay, who's giving up like 2.5 goals a game and scoring 4 or 5 goals a game. We got to close that gap. And I really think by trading for defense here will help close that gap a little bit more. So this past week came out, Chris Mortensen was reporting that Jeffrey Lurie has instructed pretty much everybody in the Eagles organization that he wants the team to build around Jalen Hurts this year and not even to bring in a quarterback for competition. Told Howie Roseman, told the coach, told scouts, told everybody. And what Mortensen said was, yes, Jalen Hurts is the guy. Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, has basically sent a message to his personnel department and his general manager that he wants to do everything he can to help Jalen Hurts be successful and not bring in somebody to compete for the job. Now, when I saw that, I got agitated again. I thought this whole quarterback drama would have been done for me and everything like that, with Wentz being traded to the Colts. But how can you say you want to build around now when you have no cap space? Okay, you only got to see him play 5-6 games and pretty much was equal, if not a little bit less productive than Wentz. When you had Wentz the past 2 years that you could build around him, you had the cap space, and you chose not to. You chose to just run with the practice squad players. So how can you expect Jalen Hurts to do anything this year and be good? Because right now we're still probably about, with all these moves and restructuring the contract, we're still probably about $10 million over the cap. And I could only see us maybe getting down to 5 below or 8 below the cap. And you're not going to be able to get, Allen Robinson or Kenny Galladay from Detroit. Maybe Hunter Henry, but I mean, he's not a playmaker or anything like that as a tight end, because Zach Ertz is on the way out, which I'm surprised that trade hasn't happened yet this week. The only thing I could think of why they said let's roll with Jalen Hurts is because, and well, let me say it this way. So if you run with Jalen Hurts sitting at number 6, you're going to get either Kyle Pitts, Chase from LSU, or Smith from Alabama. If it don't work out this year with Jalen Hurts and you decide to draft a quarterback next year, you still have Miles Sanders, who's going to be 25, 26. Pitts, Chase, or Smith, all going to be 23, 24 in that range. So if you bring a young quarterback in who's going to be, 20, 21 years old, you have a good young core there. Obviously, you're going to have a new offensive line because Kelsey is coming back this year. This should be his last year. Lane Johnson is going to be getting up there. Brandon Brooks, who is in trade talks. The last thing I saw was if they don't get a second-day pick for him, they're just going to hold on to him. So that offensive line is starting to get a little bit older. So you're going to have to build that line back up. But, like I said, if you have a new quarterback in there, with Sanders and one of those three playmakers, you still have a young core. So maybe that's why they're going to keep Hurts here, and it's like a low risk, high reward. You know, if this pays off, there's no risk to it, and we'll be back to being competitive. And if don't work out, what did it cost us? You know, we still got our playmaker at number 6. But it just really agitated me that, like, it's questioning even more about Lurie's decision making. You know, all this time we thought it was Howie Roseman, which probably was, with the whole Carson Wentz thing. And I mean, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall in that NovaCare complex, because, like I said, you had plenty of cap space the past 2 years. It's just that this year, all their big contracts are finally catching up to them. Had room to sign playmakers or trade for big playmakers to help get Wentz those playoff wins and a Super Bowl. And you chose to run out there with Greg Ward, you know, Boston Scott, practice squad player, Richard Rodgers, you know, like all small guys. And now with Jalen Hurts pretty much being the starter, because, and again, hopefully they're smart, the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, and they don't come out and name him the starter before the draft, because once you name him the starter, then teams like the Denver Broncos that need quarterbacks will not trade above you, which will help bump those three playmakers down to you. So hopefully they stick it out. Don't say who's the starter. Don't even tell Jalen Hurts he's the starter. Make him keep working for it. But this team is still dysfunctional. The way they run things, and hopefully the draft won't be too bad for us. So this past week, Dak Prescott finally is going to the bank. Him and the Dallas Cowboys officially come to an agreement for a 4-year, $160 million contract, including $126 million guaranteed. Now, even though it's a four-year contract, basically it's a 6-year contract with the last 2 years voided. I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy the Cowboys did this, because now they only have maybe a 2 or 3 year window to win a Super Bowl before these contracts start catching up. You just signed Prescott to the biggest quarterback deal. Ezekiel Elliott at the time of his contract signing was the biggest deal for them. Same with Mari Cooper. You know, you have all these big contracts, and by 2023, I believe I saw, is when some of these young guys' contracts are going to be up that you're not going to be able to afford because of Elliott, Cooper, and Prescott. Now, is Prescott worth the average of $42 million? No, he's not. Sorry. He's not a Patrick Mahomes. You know, I still would take Aaron Rodgers over him with that Green Bay team. You know, you put Aaron Rodgers on the Cowboys with Elliott and Cooper and some of those younger receivers, he probably would be putting up Mahomes' numbers, if not better. You know, you look at Green Bay right now, all they have is Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, who is hitting free agency as of right now. Green Bay's not tagging him. Is Dak Prescott worth Carson Wentz, Jared Goff numbers? I'd say yeah. You know, the one thing he has going for him compared to Wentz is he's always healthy, minus this freak leg, you know, broken leg incident that happened last year. But, and the other mind-blowing thing is he's making $75 million in the first year. 66 for signing, and then the other 9 million or whatever it would be for 5 million. And does lower this year's cap hit from, I believe it was like 22 or 23 down to 15. But this is just a dumb move on the Cowboys again. You had the guy before the leg injury. You were offering him 38, I believe it was. 35, 38, something like that. Prescott said, no, I can't do that. I'd rather play on the franchise tag. Then he breaks his leg. Now, most teams would either give him that type of contract, but have it incentive laden, or just flat out give him a lower contract. Like, listen, you had a nasty leg injury. Not sure if you're going to be back to full health. I mean, look at Donovan McNabb when he was with Philly. When he tore his ACL, came back. He was still okay. Still good, but he wasn't what he was beforehand. And now, is it going to be in Dak's head about running around? Plus now all the added pressure of having this contract. It was just a stupid move, once again, by Jerry Jones, offering this much money after he gets injured. Now, do I think the Cowboys can make that back by winning Super Bowl? I still don't think so. Honestly, next season with the NFC East, I think it's going to come down to Giants and Cowboys, but I think the Giants pull it out just because of the question marks with Prescott. It's going to take a few games to get knock the rust off and just get over the fact that listen, it's football. I'm going to get hurt. Can't let that change my decision making. And the other thing with this contract too, if you watch Prescott's numbers, he can be inconsistent. One game he could throw 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and the next game he could throw for 120 and 3 interceptions. At least, again, with Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, at least they're consistent, so they deserve that money. And one of the memes that came out after the Prescott deal was, here's Tom Brady every year giving money back to the team and winning Super Bowls, but yet all these other teams are giving huge contracts on top of past ones to one up each other and aren't winning anything. So who's doing it wrong? And I think Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys did it wrong and got it wrong once again. So this past week was UFC 259. Adonis versus Blachowicz. And I wasn't able to tune in to watch it, but next day I saw there was some controversy, much like every UFC pay-per-view there is. And there was a disqualification in one of the championship matches, which handed the belt to the challenger. Excuse me. So Peter Yan was fighting Aljamain Sterling for the 135-pound belt, and Sterling was down 2 rounds to none. According to the scorecard of the third round, at the time of the incident, had Sterling winning, but Peter Yan was coming on and starting to take the third round away from Sterling. Well, during the third round, Sterling had a knee on the ground, which is considered a down opponent, and Peter Yan, for whatever reason, decided to knee Sterling in the head, which brought the ref to pause the match and eventually calling a disqualification against the champ, which handed the belt to Sterling. Now, when this does happen, typically the rule is, I think it's like you get 5 minutes to, get the cobwebs knocked out of your head. And if you want to go on, you can go on, but it's your choice if you don't want to go on. Or the doctor can come in and make the decision on his own. So after the ref talked to the doctor a little bit, they both decided that Sterling probably could not, go on any further. Definitely, I mean, if you watch the video, I'm sure you can find it on Twitter or Facebook. But if you watch, I mean, it was a clean shot right to the forehead, and definitely rocked Sterling. 5 minutes would not give him enough time to regain his composure. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is I have issues with the people that are saying, oh, he should have went on, oh, he should have been like Alex Lionheart Smith against John Jones. Why should he go on if he's concussed? And he's not the one that did the illegal move. Peter Yan is a champ. He knows the rules. He knew he was down. Why even bother throwing it? Like Dana White said, he was up 2 rounds to none. There was no need for him to throw that. He was on the verge of even taking the 3rd round back from Sterling to go up 3-0. And this, UFC's been around now for 25 plus years, and this is the first time that a champion was disqualified and the belt changed hands due to a disqualification. But that's nor here nor there. The fact that we have people out there, fans, fighters, saying, oh, he should get a Golden Globe, Sterling should get a Golden Globe for acting. All because, afterwards pictures came out of him holding the belt and celebrating with his family. So it's wrong to celebrate with your family that you won a championship, even though he said it doesn't fully feel like a championship. And it's also, he's not ducking Peter Yan. He said that once he's fully healthy, they will do the fight back. So it's not like, if he said, no, I'm going to fight, Cody Gambit or Shane O'Malley or, someone else, then I would say, okay, now you're ducking Peter Yan. But a situation like this, you have to run it back. And Dana White already said that, they're gonna do that. They're gonna run it back. But I just can't believe how many people out there are like, he's not the real champ, this and that. And even I saw people posting pictures of zoomed in where his knee was to the canvas, how it was like a half inch off the mat. Yeah, well, that's because the force of Peter Yan's knee hit him so hard, it picked him up. Take a picture right before the knee connected, and if it was up, then Peter Yan has a good case to get this overturned if he wants to appeal it. But I'm sorry, his knee was down. The rules are the rules. The only other way, you don't want championships to change hands, something like this, for future reference, make it a no contest, so that way the champ retains his belt, but the champ loses his purse for that fight. Because again, Sterling did nothing wrong. He had the knee down. It wasn't like he was trying to trick him. Had the knee down on the canvas, and it just, Peter Yan was dumb and decided to throw an illegal knee. So no garage talk this week, but this is the last week of the season for the NSRA guys, the Simbox Truck Series. And after watching last week, I don't know if you guys tuned into the race last week. It was a hell of a race by everyone. They're going to Chicagoland this weekend, and Mitchell Adams pretty much has the championship wrapped up as long as he doesn't get all flat tires before the first lap starts, basically. But there's still some good position battles to figure out, second, third, fourth place, all them there. So I would suggest you guys tune in Friday night over on 3Y TV at 9:30 to, give it a watch. Like I said, I've enjoyed it all season long. You guys are very competitive from top to bottom. And I don't believe there was one bad race this year. And if you guys tune in to watch it, I'm telling you guys, when it's the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series next season, it's going to be even better. They're going to take a couple weeks off after this weekend, and they will be coming back April 2nd, kicking off the 2021 Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series. And like I said, it's going to be fun. There's going to be giveaways throughout the season that we will be doing. But you got to tune in. 3Y TV on YouTube. I think that's going to be it for this week, though. Head over to staytunesports.net. All our social media accounts are on the right-hand side there. Make sure you click them. Subscribe, like, tweet out, retweet out. Do whatever you got to do to help show us support. So till next week, this is your good friend Jimbo, signing out.